All right. Here's hoping you can hear me at this point. Got to switch the old video capture device because I got it set up over on the other thing here. Here we go. Should have cleared my throat and done all that before I switched over. So, happy almost New Year. Here we are. We find ourselves on the last day of 2021. Let me know, by the way, if you can hear me. I see a little thing that indicates you should. So, hopefully you can. There we go. We got people in there. So, Joseph Miga enjoyed the soundtrack. Well, sorry to have to cut it off. Let's see. Cape Crusader, Kaimo Films, Gunnar Ace Andrews. Nice to see you guys. Christopher Salvaggio. I saw somebody already talking about top figures. My top figure is the Ultimate Edition Jeff Hardy. It was one of my first moments of wrestling. Very nice. The Ultimate Edition line really improved a lot this year. The ones I got, like Undertaker and Kane I liked, but the Cena and The Rock were really good. Like those, I'm not sure. I'm going to fill you in on this right now. I don't know what my top figures of the year are, like in order or anything. So I plan on making that video at some point and, when I figure that all out. But, yeah, for now, it's just kind of, I'm going to wing it. Actually, I'm going to promote something. Tomorrow, Bill Maru is going to do a stream on his channel, and I'm going to pop in there. We're going to talk about just some of the best figures of the year. So if you know who he is, check him out. And, hop in, have fun. But for the time being, I'm not going to give like a ton of stuff away that I'm going to talk about on that, at least not right away. But I do, I just want to go over a couple fun things that happened this year. Captain Tron Live, yes. I'm stepping up in the world. And you see I got fireworks going too. I spared no expense for you here today. Let's see, Zeke first, long time. Yeah, I mean, I haven't done a proper live stream in a couple of months, I think. Something I'd like to start doing more again. As some of you may remember, I used to do it pretty regularly, but work and schedule conflicts got in the way. Hey, what's going on? Radical Lucas, Wanari. How's it going? It's good. Maybe the Figure Arts Super Saiyan 4 Goku if it even comes. Joseph Miga, I've heard basically nothing but good things about that figure. I just don't have mine yet. What I do have, however, besides this can of Dr. Pepper that I got to figure out what I'm going to do with because I can't be holding it the whole stream. But I got my nice Singular Point Jet Jaguar shirt. This is actually, it's got the logo and everything on it too. This was actually a Christmas present from Mountain Man, so got to show this off on the stream. Am I right? Like, come on. But yeah, as I switch over here, I will showcase something that I do think is probably going to make my top. And that, of course, we got that Mayfax Wolverine, that brown costume one. That's really nice. I mean, I didn't really care for the Tiger Stripe one. It had a lot of issues for me, just aesthetically, and some of the choices they made for like sculpting the claws and different things about it, I wasn't really super keen on. But yeah, this one basically corrects all those oversights and takes care of any problems I have. And as you can see, he looks good in there with the team. Those are mostly Marvel Legends, but there's a Marvel Select Colossus in there. Beast is the Toy Biz Marvel Legends, which I think is still a good figure. Like, it's still perfectly acceptable to have him in your, in your X-Men displays. We can even move this around because we're getting crazy here. That's right. I got like a little Mighty Mutanimals thing going on down there. What else we got happening here? I got just different things. Actually, if I can move this, I got this Kenny for Christmas. So hopefully be able to use him. I got the AEW and just some other stuff set up there. I don't know how good any of this is being picked up, but that's what you get from me. We're just winging it here. I'll switch back over here. Boom, here we go. But yeah, that Wolverine does look sick. It is. It's really good. I see Kaimo Films says SH Monster Arts, Biollante, Gigan, and NECA King Kong are probably top 3. You see, I thought about there's the Monster Arts Godzilla vs. Kong stuff. And I mean, Godzilla is basically a repaint, but Kong is brand new. And people have their issues with that figure, but I like it. The NECA Kong, again, it's basically just kind of a repurposed version of the last one. So I don't know if I'd put it on top 10, but like definitely honorable mention. And let's not even kid ourselves. If you missed the earlier versions of Kong from last year, you'll be perfectly happy with this one. Zombie just got my Storm Jushin Liger today, green and gold. Oh, nice. Okay. Cape Crusader. Oh, man. Feel better, dude. You don't want to start the new year sick. I mean, this time last year, I had tested positive for that thing that is kind of like crippling the entire world right now. Now, I felt fine. I just got basically paid time off of work to sit here and do like videos and stuff I would much rather be doing anyway. So, hey, I mean, it was fine for me. But, people getting sick is not great. Kenny Omega, yeah, I got that one just that I just showed. Let's see, Radical Lucas got the new Survivor Series Bret Hart, and it's a really good figure. Might do a head swap in the Championship Showdown Bret's in stock, just because the Survivor Series one looks like Gene Simmons. Yeah, yes, that Bret is really nice, but again, you do have to do a head swap. I did the same thing. I used one of the Ultimate Edition heads, and it's way better. I'm pretty sure that one coming in that 2-pack is the same head as one of the Ultimate Edition, like interchangeable swap out heads. So that'll be good. Let's see. D the Toy Hunter. When is JWF coming back? I honestly have no idea. I've been doing, I haven't been doing a lot with Super Tiger, but every once in a while I upload something to the Super Tiger Instagram account, just like a quick clip. And I do plan on eventually getting back into some of that, especially because I do have like a bunch of wrestling figures that I don't really do anything with right now. Let's see. Joseph Mika says, most of the comic Mafex figures are good. See, the last Mafex figure I think I have is the first Christian Bale Batman, and that one, it had some issues, like the arms popped off super easy. I animated with it a while back, and I do like it, but, had those issues. So I saw a lot of QC things going on with Mafex over the years, but I am really happy with that Wolverine. I do have the new Cyclops on pre-order, the blue one with the X, the white X logo on them. So excited for that one. And I think I have Azrael Batman, the Nightfall version, on pre-order as well. So we'll see. Let's see. Well, I missed something. I actually got the original and ultimate versions of Kong this year. Was mad late getting the original. Well, never too late for Kong. Speaking of Kong, speaking of being late, I can show you this. I think I put this on my Instagram, but I found for a steal. That's right. We got the McFarlane Kong. This is not going to make my top figures of this year on account of this came out like 20 years ago. But yeah, I got this for a great price on eBay. It was less than $40, including shipping and everything. Complete in the box. Doesn't look like it was ever taken out. So I got to figure out where I'm going to put it and what I'm going to do with it. I definitely want to take it out of the box and mess with it because, I mean, it's nowhere near as posable as like any of the modern Kong figures, but sculpt-wise, it looks incredible. So it deserves a place of prominence in my collection somewhere. I just got to find out where, really. Let's see. I missed all those Mafex figures, and I will not pay scalpers. I checked on the prices are insane. Yeah, I regret missing a couple of them now, Gambit in particular. So I'm not going to dive super crazy into the, like, head first into the X-Men. But my rule is if it reminds me of Toy Biz 90s X-Men Series 1, I'll get it. So brown suit Wolverine, the blue and white Cyclops. If they do Nightcrawler, Colossus, Storm with the lightning bolt, and who else was in Series 1? Magneto, Apocalypse, Juggernaut, and Archangel. All those, I'm on board. DGDX got a new one. I saw him animate with it not too long ago. We got a new, Spider-Man? Because I see people talking about Spider-Man. I did see No Way Home. I liked it a lot. I don't know if I'm going to go too deep into spoilers because there are probably still people who haven't seen it, but I would highly recommend go check it out if you have any attachment to any Spider-Man movie. Obviously the previews and everything showed a bunch of people came back. They're all here. They're all having fun in the movie, doing comic book hijinks. A lot of fun. Check it out. Let's see. Do you think it's already 2022 right now in other countries or will be before America? I don't know how the time zones work. I know everything is offset by 1 hour in different time zones, but I don't know where it begins. So in other words, there is a place somewhere on Earth where there's a 23-hour time difference. I just don't know where that is. Let's see. Camo Films got the Mafex Black Hush Batman on pre-order. I'm hoping this will be my definitive Batman on the shelf. Dude, yeah. They're the blue and gray version of Batman, the Hush one. Like, so many people swear by that figure. I considered picking it up, but I just never did. They got their, Dark Knight Returns, the bigger Frank Miller Batmans that all look great, too. I skipped those as well just because I have the Mezco versions of that. So, I'm good. I just haven't pulled the trigger on a Batman in a... Yeah, it has been a long while. I think the last one I got was, the Mezco Sovereign Knight like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. So maybe I'm overdue. McFarlane is the king of amazing sculpts and just terrible movement. Joseph Miga, yeah, it's the movie Maniacs. McFarlane Series 3, I think. Who else they got in this series? This is, it's got The Fly, Ash from Evil Dead, Kurt Russell from Escape from New York. Looks like Shaft, and a couple of figures from The Thing. So, yeah. Yeah, good stuff. I mean, I had a few of these when I was much younger. We had this one. Me and he was at my dad's house. He had a bunch of like monster figures set up. At the time, Sideshow was doing those like 7-inch Universal Monsters figures. So he was going like crazy with those. He loved those figures. And there was a bunch of the McFarlane stuff too. So he had like the Jaws set. He had the Fly. He had the Thing. Maybe not the Fly. He definitely had the Thing. And we had the Kong set up. I believe it begins in Australia, if I remember. Oh, okay, nice. So that's a good way to figure that out. Let's see. I saw something is so expensive. It'll probably come back. I don't know if you're talking about Mayfex or Mezco. Did I see the new Matrix? I did not. Gabriel Zilla, what's up? Yeah, I've heard not great things about the new Matrix. And here's the thing. I've never been like a super diehard for the Matrix anyway. So like, I don't hate it or anything. I just, came and went. I was like, yeah, pretty cool. And then I just never really thought about it again. So this new one, when I saw it was coming, I was like, oh, maybe I'll watch it. And then I heard like people just basically don't like it. So just haven't made the time for it. Kaimo also got the Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan Blue Goku from Target. Blue is great, and Super Saiyan is okay. The faces are really gummy, almost squishy look. They could have done better with the faces. I've heard people say that. I don't know if I just didn't pay much attention to mine. See, I just have the regular like blonde Super Saiyan one, and I like it. I think it's a step up from the earlier version that they did like years ago, because that was the only one I had. But the fact that you can just walk into Target and buy these for like $36 or whatever it is like, it's definitely a gateway drug for people getting into figure arts. I got my, which one did I get there? Was it Kaioken Goku, I think, with the purplish and like reddish like hue to him, which is a great figure. I mean, it's the same as the other Gokus, just colored differently, but yeah, awesome. Right now, I think Tien and Chaozu are on their way here, and then I have the Bulma pre-ordered. And after that, Zarbon and Dodoria, I think, are the next two that I have from Dragon Ball ordered, as well as Super Saiyan 4 Goku. But that's over the next couple of months probably. Mezco is so expensive, yeah. Let's see. What's going on? How's everyone today? And who thinks the Steelers will beat the Packers on the upcoming Monday Night Blitz? For those who don't know what Connor Povey is talking about, 616 Entertainment has been doing a gaming show basically every week where he has NFL Blitz, and he has his friend do the actual gameplay, and he like kind of runs commentary over it, and it's very entertaining. You don't even have to be a football fan to watch it, but if you know me, you probably know Ian from 616 Entertainment, and if you don't, go check his stuff out. It's really good. Gabriel Zilla says, am I going to get the new Godzilla Final Wars? I have thought about it. It's one of those things where like it looks really good, but like I'm at that point where I'm like, how many Godzillas do I need? I say that, and then if they announce like any like 70s like Showa era ones, I'm on board with that. The next Godzilla I'm getting for sure though is the Singular Point from the animated one. He I don't know when he's supposed to ship, because I got him from Big Bad, so I know a bunch of people have theirs already. And I'm not entirely sure when that's supposed to come out. The Mecha Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong is also something I have pre-ordered, but I don't know. After seeing reviews, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to keep that pre-order or not. I probably will, and I don't know. There's just things going on with the pistons and the legs, and the paint kind of makes it look like cheaper than it should, in my opinion. Maybe it's the type of thing that'll change when you have the figure in hand, but we'll see. I don't know. Let's see. Have I gotten any modern WWE wrestlers, or only collecting legends? At this point, I'm trying to think of the last modern guy I got. Because like the last modern people I was buying would have been when CM Punk and Bray Wyatt and those guys were like kind of modern like, and the Shield and guys like that. So like at this point, they're not on TV. Well, CM Punk is, but none of them are in like WWE anymore. At least not as that version of the character. So, yeah, God, no. Mostly what I buy wrestling wise is like Legends, old school stuff now. I'm excited for that new Gohan. Oh yes, the purple one, right? That looks really good. Kaimo Films also dipped my toes into Mezco. Got the Holiday Gomez and the Advent Calendar. Real nice figures there. Enjoying their Dr. Zayas. He's easily one of my favorite characters of all time. So the Gomez stuff is like, it's super versatile because especially if you get like, the more of them you get, the more like parts you can interchange and swap. And that's like, I know a lot of people who just have like one or two of the Gomez figures, but they still buy every release and just piece out what they want and like sell off the rest. But yeah, like that stuff is definitely intriguing. It's very entertaining to like look at what people do with it. But yeah, like, I mean, I can't get bogged down with that. That's yet another like deep, expensive hole to dive into. Joseph Miga, wish NECA still made Godzilla figures. They were pretty good for a reasonable price. And you know that Godzilla Final Wars is already bought and paid for. Yeah, see, Kaimo, he's right in line for that one. But yeah, to your point, Joseph Miga, like NECA, especially towards the end, their Godzilla stuff was really, really improving. And, it's kind of too bad that they didn't get to go back and do kind of like some 70s versions of Godzilla before they had the license taken. However, Super 7 has the license now, and if they do what I think they're capable of doing with Godzilla, like in terms of like ultimate figures, we could be looking at some good stuff. So I'm definitely very optimistic. I'm hopeful for what they put out in the future. Let's see. Did they say when those vibrant looking turtles are coming out? I saw you mention on Instagram. Oh, so like the let's switch back over here. This is what I'm about to show is, if I can do this without knocking everything over. So these are the what are they called? The Disguise 4-pack Ninja Turtles. And basically there was a solicitation photo for Ace Duck that showed these in like the brighter color scheme, which is closer to like what these guys look like. So basically just the same figures, but with different colors. Besides that one photo, and I'm going to switch back over now. Besides that one photo, I've no idea what that set's going to be, when it's coming out, or anything like that. It's just one of those things that NECA did like a random tease, and they'll probably announce more. It's kind of like when they released the Pizza Monster like solicitation photos. Irma was in the photos, but Irma didn't come out for like months and months after that, and she wasn't even announced at that point. So you kind of know with NECA, like they're going to tease their next releases in with the product shots of the current stuff. So short answer is I don't know when that's coming, but I'm on board because those Disguise Turtles are really nice, and I'm curious to see what they're going to do to make that set different. I got to give it to NECA too. Like they're killing it with the Turtles stuff, and especially considering that they constantly re-release Turtles like once a year, so that anybody that's jumping in the line right now can still have the main characters, because they'd be kind of useless if they didn't. But yeah, Kamen Rider 64, looking forward to 2022. Yeah, man, I hear you. Let's see. Basket case 420. I got the Stealth Iron Man for Christmas, but he had a scuff mark and a lot of dust. Oh, that's too bad. I like that Stealth Iron Man too. You're talking about the one with the Tony Stark head, right? And like the orange like repulsor blasts. Random Animation Studios. How do you have motivation to animate? I saw something that spoke to my soul very recently. Another graphic design guy that I know on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, he posted a thing that was basically like, you don't get motivated to start something. You have to start it, and then that's when your motivation begins. So in other words, you're never going to just get up one day and be like, I can't wait to dive right into this. Or maybe you will, I don't know. But more often it happens for me like, well, all right, let me mess around at the table. I'll put something together. And then I start moving and I start getting into it. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, we're going to keep going. This is awesome. And then I like really enjoy the process as I'm doing it. Like, that's the thing with me. I know it's fun. I know I like doing it. It's just, you got to get yourself over the hump to be like, yeah, I'm going to go spend my day doing this, or spend some time doing this. Not the whole day if you don't want to, but just whatever the case. But yeah, basically, I think most people have it backwards. Most people think you need the motivation to begin a project. I think you need to begin the project to kickstart your motivation. So, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. This has been Captain Tron Live. Let's see. Kaimo Films has begun slowing down on collecting. Probably going to stick to Final Wars exclusively or whatever has nostalgic or sentimental value. Really need to stop flinging my wallet at everything I see. Yeah, I mean, I say that every 5 minutes, basically. And then here I am with like 20 things on pre-order from Big Bad Toy Store. It's disgusting, really, that I found myself in this pit. Speaking of pit, I did get this guy too pretty recently, like just before Christmas. The pizza monster, the TMNT, basically alien xenomorph, but in the cartoon he's like a radiated little monster that turns big and turns into like one of these guys. I have a second one that I haven't opened, but yeah, this guy's actually a lot of fun too. I really do enjoy this one. NECA with their cartoon TMNT has been doing the Lord's work as far as I'm concerned. Like, no matter if I remember the characters from the show or not, the figures are always really fun. So typically I'm just like, whatever, I'll buy it. Again, pretty much the opposite of what Kaimo Films has said in terms of restraint and, keeping my bank account balance from getting any higher. That's, under no circumstances do I want any money in my bank account. Random Animation Studio says, I'm working on a He-Man series, but I just don't feel like animating. I get it. I mean, I got a bunch of stuff I'd like to make, but I just have to find the time and, convince myself to start making it. I was animating something like a week or two ago, probably, just like to test something out, to test just some new effects, really, that I think turned out okay. I'd like to have a little bit more time with it before I really focus it in and start like working on something, but it'll be fun once I start actually moving with it. I might actually do a little more tonight, because now that I've got a bunch of stuff on the table, I can move it and put it somewhere, God knows where, but I'll find a place, and then we're gonna go with it. Let's see. Yeah, did I see the new Batman trailer? Yes, I'm interested in that movie. It seems like it's a different take on what we've seen from Batman. Kind of like always a little skeptical about a new interpretation, but as bad as it is, I'm sure I've seen worse. So I'm definitely interested. Especially like that they're seemingly doing like a younger version of Batman. Like he's not super late in his career as a crime fighter yet. So kind of the opposite of what we got with Ben Affleck. That, and there's like the Flashpoint movie coming out too, where there's Michael Keaton coming back, which I do have to admit that I'm slightly irritated that there's going to be a new Michael Keaton Batman movie before the Michael Keaton Batman Mezco figure from like 2 years ago. I'd be like, no joke. January of 2020 is when I pre-ordered and paid for that figure. And tomorrow will be January of 2022. And I still don't have it. Still an empty spot over there where he should be. Let's see. Radical Lucas found bootleg SH Figure Arts TMNT figures in the box set NECA. That's interesting. I've been to like every once in a while I'll be at like a Comic-Con or something, and you'll see somebody in there trying to sell like bootleg stuff. I'm like, you know better. You absolutely don't think this is a real figure. Get out of here. Since NECA has the license, I'd love to see them reissue the comic versions of Turtles from years ago. Well, you are in luck, Joseph Miga. From what I've heard, there was I think it was like a Foosh interview like a few days ago with one of the guys from NECA who works on the Turtles series, and they are going to be doing more Mirage stuff. I think they indicated that there's going to be, maybe not necessarily the exact same figures, but there are going to be NECA figures from the Mirage, like the original comics put out again. Different versions, I think, but I mean, that's going to be cool. I'm kind of hoping for like later Kevin Eastman style art with maybe the option to change the heads from the red headbands to like the kind of multicolored ones, because like he did draw the art for, I think, the first Ninja Turtles movie, like comic book adaptation. And to me, that art style always popped, and it does look good with the multicolor headbands as well as the all red. So I think that'd be cool if they were to do something like that. I only wish we had an articulated cartoon Godzilla. Then you could do an awesome fight scene with that TMNT. I think NECA would be the perfect company to do that Godzilla. Can't wait for the Mondo. Actually, yeah. I wonder if that ever even crossed NECA's radar when they had the Godzilla license to do a Hanna-Barbera version. I'm sure there's like all kinds of logistics and rights issues with that, but yeah, that's it's a really kind of a cool idea. I wonder if anybody else is getting on that. Let's see. I think Robert Pattinson will do a good job. Robert Pattinson's going to be really good as Batman. I hope so. I mean, his performance from the trailers seems like it's pretty good, so I'm definitely intrigued at the very least. And what's her? I forget what her name is, doing Catwoman, but she looks like she'll do a good job in the role too. What are my thoughts on Keaton and Batgirl? I don't have any because I didn't even know this Batgirl was supposed to be a thing. Is it a movie or a show? And obviously, if Michael Keaton is Batman, I'll probably check it out just based on that. But beyond that, I don't really know enough about it to have an opinion. Could I sue Mezco for basically defrauding my $150? Might make him hurry that figure out. I don't know. I'm sure there's probably somebody who's thought about doing this. Like, if actually, I don't know, because if people didn't sue McFarlane for that Kickstarter Spawn, basically just falsely advertising a bunch of stuff and then not delivering it, I think Mezco's probably going to just be fine. That said, what the hell, Mezco, where is it? My favorite figure, says Zekeverse. Oh, Zoe Kravitz, yes, thank you. My favorite figure is Meowscles from Fortnite by Hasbro. So I have, what is it? I have, not Meowscles, the other one, Kit, but I have the Jazzwares version. And I know nothing about these characters. I just got that because I think it's a cool looking figure. And I guess Hasbro's doing an even better job than Jazzwares was doing. So, hey, good on them. I mean, they picked up a license with a lot of steam behind it. Radical Lucas asked, did I buy any of the new Spawn McFarlane figures? No, but every time I see somebody talk about that Violator, like that big, huge one, I'm like, man, that looks really good. Like, it's definitely a cool looking figure. I'm not attached enough to Spawn as a character to, like, dive into a toy line. I have the Mortal Kombat version of Spawn, and that's pretty much it. But, I mean, I can't deny those figures are really nicely sculpted and seemingly pretty posable, too. Let's see. We need a Batman verse film. Like Adam West, Michael Keaton, Kilmer, Clooney, Pattinson. I mean, do something. Yeah, like this. I think your best bet is now to find like a fan reiteration of them because there's so many people that like are just unable to take part now. But, it'd be pretty awesome to see regardless. Let's, Adam West is dead as hell, so that might be difficult. That's kind of what I was thinking, yeah. But, it would have to be done like, I don't know how they're going to do any of this stuff with these Flashpoint movies. Like now, Spider-Verse, you can do that because it's animated. Spider-Man No Way Home, you can do that because everybody's still around and in good health. So there's that. But Batman, you might be pushing it. Booyaka 23. Look oh my God, what a name. It's been 10 years. Any info on who bought the JWF World Championship from Steve Austin on eBay? So if you refer back to Rite of Passage, in the, was it like the video links that pop up at the end where you get the little things? There's a thing called Easter egg. If you click the Easter egg, you get your answer. Good to see you, by the way. How's everything? Radical Lucas. My favorite figure of 2021 has to be the Billy Gunn Elite Legends and the DDP Elite Legends. Oh, yeah. The short hair one, right? DDP. I never saw that one. I don't think it was in stores. Wasn't it just like a online exclusive or something? I was going to try and get that one, and I just never did. Came and went. Let's see. Remember... Oh, yeah. By the way. Did get these guys, too. I never opened them. So we got the Excalibur. X-Men multi-pack, I guess, here. You got Captain Britain, Megan, and Shadowcat. So, excited for these. It's nice to have, like, the classic version of Kitty Pryde. And I also got X-Force that I didn't open yet either. Cannonball, including legs. How about that? You got Richter and a throwback version of Domino. Which, I mean, I like the newer version of Domino probably better. But this is the era-appropriate one that goes with that 90s X-Force team. So, I'm pretty hyped. Let's see. They probably could get Keaton, Bale, Affleck, and Pattinson all in one movie. Maybe. I mean, I thought Affleck was just like done with the character, and that's why Keaton is kind of like going to be the guy in Flashpoint. I don't know. This is like, I don't follow a lot of the behind the scenes stuff for the DC movies because I'm just not terribly interested in the DC movies. Like, they haven't really done enough to keep me entertained. I say that, but Snyder Cut was pretty good. I begrudgingly admit that I really enjoyed that movie. Son of a bitch. Guess I need to pull out a 4x3 TV and do a JWF marathon the proper way. So I can watch that Easter egg. Yeah, I mean, it's in there. It's I made it a point to hide it, but if, you know, that's why it's an Easter egg. If you found it, great. You deserve an answer. I was just watching some of your videos from Bash the Outcast, and here you are with the stream. Well, thank you. Glad you're going back and checking some stuff out. I need to, I'd like to put something on YouTube at some point in the near future. I do have a bunch of Between the Frames footage that I shot that I just have to finish editing. Between the Frames is going to kind of take it's not like, and not we're going to do anything new. I'm lying. It's just going to have like little intro clips at the beginning that are going to just set the stage for the whole show. Well, actually, that's not true either. It's not going to set the stage for anything. It's just going to be stuff I do because I think it's fun. And then it's just going to get on with the normal Between the Frames fare that you have seen for years. And if you know what to expect and if you like it, you'll enjoy these too. Let's see. Affleck is done with Batman after The Flash. Oh, okay. I think I remember hearing something about that. I mean, how many times he played Batman? 3? I guess 2, and then there was like one scene in that Suicide Squad movie, right? So it's like Batman v Superman, Justice League. If you want to count the Snyder Justice League as a separate movie, then 3, I guess. But if not, 2. I thought he was pretty good. Like, I mean, people can say what they want about Batman v Superman. It wasn't great, but he and Alfred, I think, were 2 of the strongest parts of the movie for me. Maybe in a perfect world, maybe if he had a better script, like there was supposed to be a script, I think, with Deathstroke as the villain somewhere in there that just never amounted to anything, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, this is all going back to kind of around the release of Batman v Superman, and then when that movie came out and did terrible, they pretty much put everything on the shelf, I think. I've been watching for inspiration for my wrestling stop motion. I'm starting soon. Oh, okay. Nice. Let's see. Find someone that looks like Adam West or some sort of CGI. You run the risk of doing like something like Rogue One where the CGI characters don't quite look right and they don't match up with anything going on. So, I mean, you know, that doesn't mean that would stop anybody from doing it. It just means it's going to not look great when they do. Rogue One, people love it. I think it's fine. Like, it's not exceptional by any means, but, you know, here we are. What is pretty good, though, is Book of Boba Fett, Episode 1. It's off to kind of a slow burn start, but, I mean, early episodes of The Mandalorian weren't exactly, like, super thrilling either. The story needed to build up a little bit before it became, like, really engaging, but this seems like it's going to be on the right track, and I say that as somebody who's kind of a lapsed Star Wars fan, so it's always really cool when I see, like, new Star Wars that's, like, really interesting to me. So, yeah, I'm hyped for the future of Book of Boba Fett. Jose Amiga has just asked that question. Let's see. I hate Batman v Superman. That is a popular opinion. I think most people who watched it did not like it, except for the people who just, like, I don't know, they just love Zack Snyder, I guess. Which, Zack Snyder, prior to that, what did he do? That Dawn of the Dead remake, which was pretty good. 300, no, that wasn't 300. He did Watchmen, which was actually, in a lot of ways, better than the graphic novel. I don't want to say better, but it was different, but I understood why it was different, because there was a lot of stuff in the graphic novel that would have been kind of a lot for a movie, you know, but maybe, God, I think he did do 300, but 300 wasn't great for me. I don't know. I know people liked it, but it's fine, I guess. Book of Boba Fett is okay so far. Also, the theme isn't as good as Mando's theme, but I love the show. Let's see. Bash the Outcast said, I don't know if someone asked you yet, but did you? Yes, I did see the new Spider-Man. I didn't go too deep into spoilers or anything with it because I don't know who's seen it and who hasn't, but I'd recommend it. A lot of fun. As for Marvel movies of the past year, what do we get? We got Shang-Chi, Eternals, Black Widow, and Spider-Man. Black Widow wasn't bad. I thought it was a perfectly fine action movie. Shang-Chi I liked more than I expected to. Eternals I didn't even see. And Spider-Man was a lot of fun. So, I mean, Marvel doing pretty good. But their television has been really good too. So the Hawkeye series that just came and went, I had a good time with that. What was it? I think Wanda was the start of the year, WandaVision, which I really, really enjoyed. That was probably still my favorite out of all the Disney shows from Marvel. After that, probably Loki. Or Hawkeye, actually. Probably Hawkeye, and then Loki, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier. And that's... I don't want to say that it's bad. It's just not as interesting to me as the other ones. Falcon and Winter Soldier is a lot more reminiscent of, like, the stuff we've already seen from MCU, where, like, the other shows are kind of, like, doing new, interesting things. And then there's What If, which is, like, just its own thing altogether. But I had fun with that, too. He did that Army of the Dead movie that had Batista in it. Oh, Snyder, yeah. I didn't see that either. An underappreciated aspect of Book of Boba Fett. See, here he comes with his Star Wars knowledge. I gotta hand it to you, though. I mean, your Star Wars knowledge is always well appreciated. Underappreciated aspect of Book of Boba Fett and Mando is that they aren't afraid of beating the shit out of the protagonist and making them feel more like Indy than Superman. That's something I did notice, actually. Like, Boba Fett, he's getting beat up by, like... You know, spoilers. He's getting beat up by like Jawas and like sand people. He's like walking through the town and just gets jumped by like ninjas and stuff. And I did get a laugh out of the fact that like he hires the two Gamorrean guards to be like his bodyguards, and then they just kind of like disappear for a second, and then like I don't know if they're still back in the bar, like, oh man, we're real happy we still got our jobs. That was a close one. And then they're like, oh, he's getting beat up. Like we got to run. So, yeah, it's a fun show, though, so far. One episode in. Mandalorian, I had a lot of fun with. I was super late to Mandalorian, actually. Like, both seasons were already completely out by the time I decided to finally sit down and, you know, figure my life out and watch that show. But, like I say, as kind of a lapsed Star Wars fan, like, the last trilogy didn't do much for me. Like, I thought Force Awakens was good, but then the other two movies, they were just kind of, like, okay to me. Like, they didn't really... I don't know. They just didn't capture me the same way the original trilogy did. But Mandalorian kind of restored a lot of my interest in Star Wars, I think. So, Book of Boba Fett, here we go. Let's do it. Zombie says... Kaimo, no one saw Eternals. Zombie says, Shang-Chi blew me away, and Eternals is coming Disney Plus in January. All right, so I'll catch it then. Basket Case, I'm still watching Loki. Burnout Inc., hey, yo! Basket Case, I know I'm late. That's fine. I was like 2 years late to Mandalorian, so, you know, being in the Sarlacc pit did something to him, says Joseph Miga. I think that's probably the direction they're going to go. Like, who knows how long he was down there. They made it seem like it wasn't long, but, you know, for all we knew, that could have been like a day or 2 days or whatever. But, yeah, either way, like, he's basically laying out in the sun, just suffering. So, yeah. I do understand how those guys got the jump on him. Let's see. Eternals is a confusing mess. A movie like that would have never worked in the timeline it was created. If it was in phase 1 or 2, Eternals would have worked out better. I kind of got that with Black Widow. Like, I think if Black Widow had come out kind of when it was more supposed to, like around the time of Infinity War, I think it would have done better. Because by the time it did eventually come out, it felt almost dated. Like, almost something where, like, when you watch it, you're like... Yeah, this feels like something I would have already seen a couple of years ago, which, I mean, would have been accurate at that point. Perfectly serviceable action movie. Fun characters. I really like Yelena. I think seeing her again in Hawkeye was actually really cool. But yeah, I mean, it's not a bad movie by any stretch, but it just seems a little out of place with the stuff they're doing now. Booyaka says... As I've gotten older, The Force Awakens has aged the worst because the meta theme of being a soft OT reboot hasn't aged well with the rise of incorporating prequel elements into stories. I guess that makes sense. It's maybe that's why I liked it because it reminds me of the ones I liked, and I get that that's kind of like a superficial reason, but people connect to Star Wars for the things they like about Star Wars, and like by the end of Force Awakens, I was like, I'm ready to see what happens to these characters, like the Rey and Finn and the other guy, Poe. Yeah, big Star Wars fan right here. Um, but then I didn't watch Last Jedi until it was already like streaming somewhere, and it was fine. There's a lot of things that people were really upset with in that movie, and I don't fully understand why they were so mad. Same with Rise of Skywalker. I was like, it's all right, isn't it? It's like not great, but it's not terrible either. I don't know. People I think are just too picky. Let's see. I saw Burnout Inc. say Mando has breathed a lot of new life into the Star Wars universe. Oh, yeah, breathed new life into me. I was basically on life support with Star Wars, and here comes Mando with that CPR with that helmet on somehow. That didn't. I don't know how he did that. Maybe it was like the hose thing from the Stormtrooper's helmet that he did, or that Boba did. Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, or yeah, Joseph Miga. See, he's one of those guys. He doesn't like those movies. Booyaka says, Last Jedi is still my fave sequel by far. Rise of Skywalker would be something I'd like more if it was edited better and had breathing room for the characters between the boop boop blam scenes. Rise of Skywalker, I think it suffered because at that point, your options, if you're J.J. Abrams, your options are to either build on the previous movie and double down on the things that it established, but he didn't do that. He just tried to like negate everything in the previous movie. So I mean, Star Wars, Force Awakens started here. Last Jedi got over here, and then they just decided to pedal it back, and you end up right where you started. And so nobody feels like fulfilled watching that. I mean, there were cool things in it, cool concepts, but I don't know. That and I saw like the people getting mad at stuff just were getting mad at the stupidest stuff in that movie. They're like, oh, how did Kylo Ren get to Exegol because Rey stole a spaceship? Like, what do you mean? Like, this wouldn't be an exciting thing to put on screen, okay? So they didn't film the scene, but you assume that since Kylo Ren is like the grand leader of the entire First Order, he could probably call a shuttle over and be like, listen, I need somebody to bring a ship down here, so I'm going to take it to Exegol. Bring two ships, so the two guys can fly back in the same ship, and I'll take the other ship and go. Like, what kind of scene would that be? But you have to spell things out for these people. So, and again, like the Rey Skywalker thing, so upsetting to so many people. And I'm like, it's right in the movie. Like, they've said the entire movie that Kylo Ren and Rey are like a dyad in the Force or whatever it is. They're two halves to the same whole. Kylo Ren gives his life essence to save Rey, so they're basically now combined. Kylo Ren's a Skywalker, so she is now a Skywalker. Like, it makes sense. It's in there. But because the movie didn't explain it in the same way that I just did, people are like, oh, this doesn't feel like it's earned. Well, I don't like my Star Wars anymore. Let's see. Need to go back and play Basket Case. We'll see you. Need to go back and play Jedi Fallen Order and the new Squadron game. Heard they were both good. So have I, actually. Tom has 2 movies of Spider-Man before he's done. Hopefully either kill him off properly in the MCU or bring Miles and basically recreate the animated Spider-Verse origins for him. I don't know how they're going to continue. It's almost like they left it open for like him to just basically go back to Sony if this whole Disney-Sony deal doesn't like continue. Seems like they're playing it pretty cautious. Like, so if Spider-Man does continue in the MCU, they can keep him there. But if he just goes back to Sony, they already did the thing where nobody remembers who he is anyway, so you can build an entire new cast of characters. Also, I feel that we were robbed of a Tom Hardy Venom versus Tom Holland Spider-Man. Kymel Film says, I never really liked a bunch of movies then when the final one came out. I couldn't stand the rest of them. Although I also think that the sequels' lack of quality doesn't make the prequels good. Oh, no, absolutely not. Like, the prequels are still very flawed movies. Like, comparison doesn't do them any favors. Like, you're comparing 2 completely different flavors of terrible food there. It's like, You might like one better, but you're not going to sit there and recommend it to people. The tube full of Snoke clones and Rise was absolutely hilarious, though. Buy basket case. Ryan Johnson. He's a very divisive director, too. Like, all of his stuff, he's even on record saying, he's like, I like when people leave the theater and half the audience loves it and the other half hates it. And that's pretty much what he got with that movie. I mean, I think it was probably more of a 60-40 divide. Well, actually, no. That probably was 50-50. In fact, I would guarantee probably more people liked it than hated it. You just see more hate for it because if you're like me, you spend time in absolute destitute swamps like Twitter, and all you see is terror and angst. So, yeah, I bet most people are probably fine with these movies, honestly. I will say that the cinematography, VFX, and sound design in the sequels is great, even in the sequels that I'm not as big a fan of. Rey and Kylo's lightsaber sounds too good. Sounds too good shit. I like Kylo's lightsaber. I thought it was interesting that they gave him like kind of little hilt things and like how it looks like he didn't finish building it correctly, so it's like crackling and the thing looks like it could explode in his hand at any second. And I'm like, all right. I mean, this guy's playing pretty fast and loose, but hey, he's pretty cool either way. She should have said, my name is Stone Cold Ray Austin. Give Palpatine a stunner and chug 2 cans of beer over his corpse. Some of that like stuff that you can get in the cantina where they don't let droids in. She's just popping cans open. Thank you for the Venom thing. I don't understand how they're going to work that into the whole universe. It looks like they're just like, we just want a symbiote, but we don't want to connect ourselves to the Sony movies because we want to do it our own Venom. And those Venom movies, I'm not going to tell anybody they're good movies, but I love them. I sat there laughing through the second Venom movie at just how ridiculous it was. I think they're so like hilariously entertaining that like, again, not good, but just go have fun. You're allowed to do that. I really wish Deadpool popped up in a cameo. That's me being a Deadpool mark. I get that. I mean, he'll pop up somewhere. We'll see him. Let's see. I got the Knives Out sweater that Chris Evans wore. It's fantastic. Nice. My biggest problem with the Rise of Skywalker, I almost said Revenge of Sith, and I'm like, no, that's right. That's too similar. And almost the whole trilogy is that it negates the events of the original trilogy and it degrades so many characters. Why would Han have gone back to being a prick when he completely changed from New Hope to Return? So, when Solo, the movie, was coming out, I'm like, nobody needs this prequel Han Solo movie. Now, in retrospect, I saw it. I enjoyed it for what it was. I don't think it's great, but I had fun watching it the time I watched it, except for, like, Mob Boss Darth Maul at the end. What was that? But I was like, you know what? I can make a better Solo movie. So in my head, I'm like, how do we connect the dots between Return of the Jedi and the original Star Wars? Or, I'm sorry, no, between Return of the Jedi and the Force Awakens. Because, like you say, Han Solo has done a huge character arc in the original trilogy, and he basically goes back to the way he was when we first saw him, like, prior to learning anything. And so in my movie, Solo, it takes place between Jedi and Force Awakens. And basically, after the war is over, like, he kind of realizes, like, oh, like, my whole life now is this, rebuilding and restructuring everything. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just a guy who got by on, like, just flying by the seat of my pants, and now I'm, like, married to a princess, except she's, like, a diplomat, and she's doing all government stuff. I don't know what I'm doing with any of that, so I'm not really a general guy either. I just kind of have always done my own thing. Luke Skywalker is, he's being a Jedi, and he's training my son. Let's say baby Kylo's born, and it's like my son kind of relates more to Luke than me because he's doing the Jedi thing. Like, Han Solo starts feeling like an outcast, right? He doesn't know what he's doing, so he goes back to doing the only thing that he knows that he's good at, and that's smuggling and kind of underhanded, kind of shady operations. This, of course, would cause tension with him and Leia, and Leia would just be like, look, man, you can't be doing this. We're, like, supposed to be setting examples for everybody. And Han's like, look, this is the only thing I'm good at. And their relationship is on the rocks because it's like what do they call it? Like the reality TV scenario where, like, on Survivor, not Survivor, God, what is this stupid shit? Like The Bachelor or something, where they're like, we're going to send 2 people on a date. We're going to fly them over to Italy, and they're going to have dinner on a little boat in Venice or whatever. But then the 2 of them get together in real life, and they're not doing that. So, like, a lot of that romanticism is gone. You don't have that anymore. They're in love with that. They're not in love with each other. And in much the same way as Star Wars, they're in love with how awesome the war, winning the war and everything, and they're like, oh man, like that thrill, that rush that they get, they attribute it to each other. Problem is, they figure out without the war, they don't really have that rush anymore. So Han goes off on his own, and he goes and does the only thing that he's any good at, which is smuggling. And Leia stays back, runs the first, not the First Order, the New Republic, whatever it is. And that's where you end your movie. It's just Han getting back on, I mean, let's say it's the Falcon at that point, and him and Chewbacca fly away, and they kind of leave the rebellion behind. So, yeah, that's my Solo movie. Maybe it's a little depressing, but it at least makes sense. What has fallen? My God. All right. So, yeah, that's my pitch for Solo. 4 out of 10, maybe? Let's see. The movie's definitely had cool ideas, like a stormtrooper going rogue, but none of it is executed that great. See, I like the first one, but then there's like very little follow-up to it. He basically fights his superior officer and like beats her up and throws her down like a hole, right? Like that's kind of how that gets resolved. They could have done more with that. Venom 2 was so fun to watch. Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not the same Deadpool. It's a different Deadpool that knows Spider-Man, but stayed and remembered him because Deadpool. Like fourth wall breaking Deadpool. I mean, maybe. Could happen. Solo is one of the biggest bullshit movies I've ever seen. See, I liked it fine. But that's about the biggest amount of praise that I could put on it, is that it was just fine. Like, unnecessary. We don't need it. I still rank it above Rogue One, just based on the fact that Rogue One essentially added nothing to me. Like, it was well shot. Some of the battle scenes were cool and everything, but if you're making a movie based on characters that you already know aren't important, or else they would have been in the other movies, and you're ending the movie at the exact scene where a much better and more fun movie is about to begin, I don't know. I mean, you got to see Darth Vader do a thing in the hallway. That was fine. That was cool. Recreate the original trilogy, but it's with the Parks and Recreation cast. See, I'm on board. Let's do it. Let's see. Looking forward to the Obi-Wan show. Definitely cool to see Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen back. That's another piece of retroactive continuity there. Everybody was like so thrilled that Hayden Christensen was coming back. I'm like, you hated this guy. It was like, as far as the pantheon of actors from Star Wars, it went number one most hated. So Jar Jar Binks, the actor. I can't place his name right now. Number 2, Anakin Skywalker from Phantom Menace, the kid, Jake Lloyd. And Ahmed Best, that's Jar Jar. Jake Lloyd, and then Hayden Christensen. Everybody hated him because he played such a whiny, arrogant punk in those movies, which, I mean, to be fair, that's what Anakin was in those movies, and that's why he was so easily manipulated by Palpatine. But yeah, people are like celebrating. They're throwing like ticker tape parades in the street saying, oh yeah, Hayden's coming back. You hated this guy. Why are you so happy about it? Because it reminds you of something maybe you think you used to like, or maybe you really did used to like. I don't know. Whatever. At this point, I don't know. Like, I haven't kept up with Star Wars, like with all the newer stuff. Like, as it happens, I watch it. And I'll watch Obi-Wan too. Obi-Wan will be fun. Let's see. Want to see characters from Image Comics get more exposure, like characters from Marvel and DC. What does Image have? Spawn. They had like, God, I can't place the names of it. It's like Youngblood. There was Gen 13, I think it was, the Jim Lee one. Savage Dragon, I think, was in there. Savage Dragon would do good as an animated series, I think. That could be cool. Is Invincible Image, or is that something else? Like, it's, if it is, it's more recent Image. It's not like classic Image, but yeah, I mean, there's, at this point now, they could be considered classic characters because they've been around 20, 25, 30 years, so most of them. So yeah, give them a little shine. Put them on TV, put them on a movie, do something with them. Time heals all wounds, I guess. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. Maybe things would be different if he became the master. I mean, who, Anakin? Yeah. If Mace Windu didn't just like treat him like a child and induct him into the Jedi Hall of Fame there, but not give him the rank of master. Or, God, Council, not Hall of Fame. What is wrong with me? Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen those Star Wars prequels. Wildcats, there you go. Wetworks. Image had Walking Dead. That's right. So okay, they got some. It's I guess it's not necessarily for their classic stuff, but it's well, I mean, actually no. What am I saying? Walking Dead's over 20 years old now at this point, I think. So, or it's sniffing 20 at least. Betty White died. I just found this out. Yeah, I just found that out like a little while before starting this, and so this is too bad. I mean, people. I at first wasn't sure because you always see people share kind of those joke things. It's like, oh, huge update on Betty White, and it's like she's fine, she's doing really well, and so like you kind of well, you cry wolf only so many times before something like this actually happens, and people are like, whatever, and then you figure out, oh, actually, damn, it's true. So R.I.P. It's weird to think that, God, so many people have never known what the planet is like without Betty White. So, I know she had a great many fans. As a couple friends of mine actually are big fans of like Golden Girls and that kind of stuff. They just watch all the classic stuff. So, yeah, not great. Was Preacher made by Image? That's a good question. I actually don't know that. Let's see. Rogue One also makes the beginning of New Hope really odd. At the end of Rogue, Vader knows the plans are on that rebel ship, and he knows 100% that it's an enemy ship. But at the beginning of Hope, Vader only attacks the ship based on speculation, and Leia is an Imperial diplomat. Really, really confusing. Well, I think Vader knows still in the original because he's basically just pointing his finger in his face. He's like, you are lying to me. I know you're a part of the Rebel Alliance. I know those plans are on this ship. Like, I don't think that was necessarily lost because Darth Vader knows what he's talking about. And, Leia just is trying to BS him long enough for the droids to get in the escape pod and get out of the ship. Let's see. Wildcats did have an animated series. Oh, that's right. They did, didn't they? God. Was that the one with the guy with like kind of the mask that started here and like covered his whole face? It was like a cloth kind of thing, and he had his little eyes. What was going on with that show? I remember the cartoon. I remember there was like action figures too, I think, but yeah, who knows? This is like when MF Doom died and we just found out 2 months later. I'm just stunned. See, I heard about MF Doom like I think it was that day, but like what it didn't dawn on me is that like he had posted a picture like the previous day of him like in a car or something, but like you could see a hospital bracelet on his arm, and you just never like I never thought twice about it until after the fact, and I'm like, oh wow, like he knew. So yeah, cryptic, definitely morbid. But speaking of morbid, what else do I have that I can show here? Well, let's switch over to video capture device number 2. Put that on the Captain Tron, and we'll appreciate another one of these fine figures that I got this year. That being, of course, King Diamond. Yeah, look at him. If you can see him, this is not exactly the most optimal way to show anything on this channel, but yeah, pretty good. I like that figure a lot. Did a little animation with him on Instagram that I can't really put on Facebook because it'll immediately get like blocked because of using copyrighted music and all that. Although that didn't stop me from doing the Fat Boys thing with Spider-Man, so I don't know, maybe I'll do that. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Super 7 is a company that like I never really paid a ton of attention to until the last year or two, and now I've probably got like 10 of their figures maybe, and I like all of them. So excited to see what they do in the future. I know they got more Ninja Turtle stuff coming out. They got the Myers and Cardona figures coming out from the major podcast. They got the Godzilla license is something I'm very interested in seeing what they do. So bring it on. Get on my shelf, as I say. Yeah, so what else you guys got? I'm going to give it another 5 minutes or so and just hear about what you got. How'd Christmas treat you? Get any good figures? Get any, top 10 figures of the year ideas for yourself? Like, what do you like? What's going on with you guys? Preacher was Vertigo. That's right. Okay. Yeah, Vertigo, the DC and Sandman too, right? Was I wrong in hearing that there was something supposedly happening with Sandman? Or was it just an audio drama type thing? I feel like I read something about that and I can't remember it. I pre-ordered all of their Silverhawks line. Oh, very nice. Okay. Grifter, that's the guy. Okay. Yeah, their Silverhawks, like, I don't know anything about Silverhawks. I remember the toys, but I never watched the show or had any. But what is it, the Thunder Tank that they're doing for Thundercats is like this huge, massive thing, like $400. And the Turtle Van, actually, the Party Wagon, I didn't end up pre-ordering it, but I mean, it definitely crossed my mind. And I'm like, I do not have $450 for this. Absolutely not. But that doesn't mean I didn't consider it. And it looked like an absolute beast, but it just wasn't the right time for me. And, honestly, that's a lot of money. So I just didn't go for that. I'm very happy for everybody who's going to enjoy it, but couldn't do it. Got to be a lot of stuff for the Nintendo 64. Do I have any wrestling figures I'm selling? I was going to message you about that. Not off the top of my head. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking over here on the floor because I used to have a pile of them, but I actually did clean a little bit in here. It doesn't still look clean because I've since made a different mess. But, yeah, nothing that I'm thinking about selling right now, but, doesn't mean I won't change my mind at some point. Let's see. I brought the rest of my roster and got a ring from Wrestling Superstore. The Wrestling Superstore rings are pretty good. I mean, I have still the Jakks WrestleMania 2 Classic ring, and the Wrestling Superstore rings are exactly the same. I've gotten some of their component parts too, like the turnbuckle pads and some different things, and it's all compatible. It's all nice. I like it. One of the greatest themes ever. Nice, Silverhawks. Christmas this year was really draining. Some stuff came up about a week before that made time go on 0.25 speed, or at least felt like that. So ready for Christmas and New Year's to be over. I hear you. I didn't even have like a bad holiday or anything, but it was just like dragging, seems like. I say like I'll bring on 2022, but let's face it, tomorrow's going to feel just like today. So it's, as time passes, everything will kind of subside a little bit. Things will start feeling a little more normal. But yeah, what are you going to do? I either play Doom or I convince myself to do some stop motion, which I'd like to do later today if I can be bothered. I should, though. I really should. Had to step out for a minute, but are you doing Bill Maru's podcast later? Thought I saw something about that on IG. So that's tomorrow. He's doing like a top 10 figures thing on his channel tomorrow, and I'm gonna hop in there for a little while and just talk about some good figures from the year. I think I mentioned this before you got here, but like I don't know what my top 10 figures are just yet. I just I know kind of a few that I'd like to include, but I haven't made a proper list. I haven't put it all together yet, so I don't know. We'll get there when we get there, I suppose. But I do want to make like an actual video for that, the way I've done like previously. But yeah, apart from that, all I know is that I'm going to talk about a few things that I showed earlier, like the Mafex, the Wolverine, the brown suit one. Maybe one or two of these Ninja Turtles figures. Like, yeah, probably a couple of those. They're really nice. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on this impromptu stream. This is not something that I announced was going to happen. This is just something that I was like, you know what? I'm going to end 2021 with just a conversation with some people that are into my channel or my Instagram or action figures or collecting or whatever the hobby is that you like. We got to talk a little Star Wars today. That's probably the most Star Wars I've talked in a long time. But yeah, man, looking forward to next year. Let's see what happens. You got to always hope that you end up farther ahead of where you started. And, I had some fun. This past year, I got to be, Burn On Ink's wedding. That was a big deal. That was a lot of fun going out there and, hopefully in the future I get to do that again. I'd say do that again. We don't need to wish for another wedding necessarily, but just go hang out. Still got to watch Maniac Cop 3. We watched 2, but, I'm saving that one. Anyway, thank you for checking in with me. We got Between the Frames coming up at some point. Like I said, I got to film a little bit more and get an episode together, but I do have footage and it's going to be fun. Got some different animated ideas that I want to put together and, keep an eye on my Instagram at Captain McKay There'll be like smaller little clips of work in progress type stuff, probably, as what usually happens. And, 15, 10, whatever second clips of stop motion here and there, as well as just ridiculous assorted nonsense. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Let me get my screen ready so that I can end it.